I think Bitcoin, XRP, and Solana are about to explode. These cryptos are flashing a rare signal that could mean explosive growth ahead. The last time XRP had a signal like this, it turned $1,000 into $70,000. Now, while I don't think this is likely to happen again, I think we're still likely to see big gains to come. Each of these cryptos has a different signal that they're flashing. So in this video, we're going to see each of those signals, and we're also going to see how you can profit from them. Which stocks can you buy if you don't like access to crypto? Which ETFs can you use on the stock market? Or which crypto coins can you buy outright? Let's get into it. If you're enjoying this video and want to build financial freedom using the stock market, I put together a free guide called 10 chart patterns that make money. It's based on the exact system that we use at Profit Punch, a financial newsletter and educational hub that sends you A+ stock setups where we tell you exactly when to buy and sell, and also will teach you stock trading from the ground up. These are the same patterns that our members use to catch moves like SMCI 250%, NVDA 200%, Uplavin 350%. The guide is short, visual, and beginner friendly. Just click the link in the description or pinned comment to grab your free copy. Now back to the video. On my screen, I have the weekly chart, which is used to see the longer term picture. And on that weekly chart, we have the 10-week simple moving average, which is the first one. And then we have the 30-week simple moving average. Now, we also have the daily chart of Bitcoin to know exactly where to get in. And here I have the 50-day simple moving average and the 20-day exponential moving average. I believe this is the only chart setup you need to make money in the stock market. It's very simple. Let's see what Bitcoin has been doing if we go on the weekly chart. Last time Bitcoin had something called the virtual contraction pattern. Whenever you see these tight wicks, it has a big drop, then the second drop is not that small, then the next drop is smaller, then forms even a smaller drop, and then it jumps out. We want to get in around here, big profit. The first time that was a good buy was about 21,000 here, another buy point over here, another buy point over here. And now we are seeing another buy point. So Bitcoin has been basing this whole time while the market was crashing. And I have already started a very big position in Bitcoin. So here we see this all-time resistance around 110,000. So Bitcoin is forming something called a cup and handle. So basically it forms a base for a very long time. And the longer the base, the stronger the signal. So this base here has been going on since December last year. It's been going on for half of a year. But then if you look at the even bigger picture, is that it has been really basing from 2021 to 2025. And whenever commodities or cryptos or any commodity that is traded is basing for this long, it normally leads to a very long breakout. And then if you want to know how long it's going to run, you can just take the time that it has taken sitting, divide it by 2, and then it's likely to roughly move for around the time. So if it has sat down for 2 years, that means it's likely to run for 2 years. This is very good news for long-term investors. Now, let's get into the smaller details of what is happening so that you can learn while you earn. So we see a nice base here, and then we can see Bitcoin starts to bottom out around here, around $78. Then it forms something called a shakeout. So a shakeout is when the big dogs try to push the price down, scare people out so that they can get the stock for themselves. This is the first sign that we should get in. Here we see something called the low chit. It's called the low chit because it's forming this tight compression, the lower third of this base. So I started a position here, and then it comes and forms this mid chit. I then added to my position. So I risked more money because this is where we ideally normally get in. And then here we see Bitcoin is breaking out to all-time highs. And all-time highs is always a good sign because once a commodity or a stock goes to all-time highs, that means that there are no sellers up there looking to get out of their position. So most of the time, it can just run freely. All-time highs is a very good sign. And of course, I sent out alerts in my newsletter, so you should sign up for that if you want to get these alerts because I watch the markets every day. And the reason I'm hopeful about this is that here I was still mastering one of my new long-term strategies. Around here in October, I risked $50 and I got a profit of $1,000. So that was a 1 to 20. And then I was thinking to myself, The next time this happens, does that mean if I risk $500, I'm going to get $10,000 in profit? That's why I'm really excited for this breakout, because it's going to all-time highs. It's also forming something called a base on base. Now, a base on base are when two bases just literally sit on each other. So it consolidates, runs up, and then it consolidates. And normally after these bases on bases, stocks normally just explode and they just keep running. You can see it here. This is kind of a small base on base. So this is a weekly chart. We see it comes and sits for these several weeks. They look very short here, but these were about 10 weeks it sat. It runs up, sits for another on 10 weeks, and then you can see that Bitcoin did, 500% move. And that's what I'm seeing here as well. It sits for a long time, comes back down, sits again, and now it's breaking out. So how can you profit from this Bitcoin move? For Bitcoin in particular, you can use BIT, or this is an ETF. So we're going to first look at ETF. So this ETF tries to replicate the movement of Bitcoin. The reason it's not going to all-time highs yet is because this crypto pays out dividends, and whenever a dividend is paid out, the price is reduced by that amount. That's why this crypto might look like it's not going to all-time highs, but in effect, you're getting the same return as Bitcoin, because these dividends that it paid you did effectively reduce the stock price. But you can see here there was a successful trade that I recommended to the people in the newsletter, so that was nice when it happened. And then the next one that I use is BITX. Now BITX, the reason I use this is a ×2 leveraged ETF of Bitcoin. The good thing about these leveraged ETFs is that when the primary market that the leveraged ETF is derived from moves smoothly and keeps going up, these ones have an exponential growth because the leveraged ETF promises twice the daily return of the other asset. So when the Bitcoin is smooth and is going up, you can make much bigger return. People had to buy here around $49 and now they're already in profit. I'm sure they've all raised their stop losses to now where they bought, so that if it comes back down, then they just lost nothing in that trade. I got in around here around $36 because it was a riskier entry, but then I made a bigger entry at around $47 in BITX. So let's see what the future has in mind. The next one is MSTR. I started to pile in here around 308. Then I made a big entry again here at 415, but since it has closed under the 20-day exponential, I got stopped out for now. So what I'm waiting is it going to come and bounce off this 50 and then keep going up, because it's still looking like it's forming something called a cup and handle. And it's also at all-time highs. This is MicroStrategy, which is one of the companies that holds a lot of Bitcoin, so you can make a big profit. Normally what we expect is that stocks normally don't just run through a falling 50-day simple moving average like you see here. They normally go up, come back and test it, and then jump up. And that is what I am expecting to see. Now that's enough of Bitcoin. You've seen how you can profit from it. If you want to know when exactly to enter and where, put your stop loss, sign up for the newsletter. There's a money back guarantee. I don't want anyone to miss out on these gains if they avail themselves. The next one is Solana. Solana is also showing very good signs. We have the weekly chart of Solana and the daily chart. If we look at the weekly chart, you can see that it is also going to all-time highs. I was very excited in October last year when it broke out. I thought it was going to the moon, but then it failed and came back down. And now it is recovering again. So what normally happens is that when things break out, they can do two things. They can either go straight up or come back and test, which is what it tried to look like it was doing here. And then it still failed and then came back and faked everybody out. After it came and died for a little while, it started to form those nice patterns that we like to look for. The first one is a shakeout that I already discussed earlier in the video. See the prices come, it pushes out the previous low and then tries to keep going up. Then we have a cheat here. You see this very tight price actions, and then we have a big breakout. I initiated a huge position here for Solana as well. My stop is around this level. It's forming another cheat. If it does break out from this, it's a good buy as well. But this is my second option because we like to see it going to all-time highs. So I'm not really liking the price structure here. It is not looking as nice as Bitcoin. But if you want to profit from Solana, then there are two ETFs. The first one is here. I already sent out the alert, so people are already in profit, as you can see. Yeah. So this is a ×1 ETF, SOLZ. Then there's SOLT, which I wouldn't recommend because Solana itself is already a very volatile market. So if you get a times 2 ETF, then it's likely to be moving like 20% per day, which is a very huge volatility, and that can easily ruin an account if it goes the opposite direction. The final one that I'm really loving, that I really want to make a huge bet on, is XRP. So you see XRP has had some crazy moves in the past where $1,000 could have turned into $70,000, because there's a 70,000% return. Now, of course, I don't think anyone really held through all of this. And then Solana goes through this 5-year accumulation. So you see this VCP over time, and then it breaks out. And whenever a thing breaks out, we expect it to come and test its breakout, its all-time high. XRP broke out and has come and tested its all-time highs, which is perfectly normal and expected. Now we are looking into where can we add to our positions. Now XRP, since it is smaller, is a little bit more volatile. That's why you see these really big candles, and then they like to check out people. That's why you gotta be really careful in this. So these ones you risk less money because it is more volatile. So we are seeing all of these checkouts. This is a very good sign. Despite the fact that people have been trying to push the price down, it never quite falls below this level here. That is a first positive sign. And then while it is recovering, we can see these tight price actions. Another thing about these tight price actions, you like to see that they have to be less than 3 times of the average true range. So now I have 1.5 of average true range. So I try to see if it is less than twice of this value. So if this value is 7%, let me say just call this 8%, then I want to make sure that this level is less than 16%. So if it's within that range, that's a very good sign. So here I did buy. And then if it breaks out again, I will add to my position because this is very constructive movement in the base. I can have an average price of around here, and then if it breaks out to all-time highs, that is going to be perfect. I originally thought it was going to break out here last year in December, and I was very excited, but then it just refused to go. That is why you must have a stop loss in case things do not go your way. So that move failed, and it has come back and it is reconstructing again. Now XRP doesn't have ETFs that you can profit from, so this one you have to buy the crypto outright. But I think Bitcoin is the best, XRP is the second, and Solana is the third. Sign up for the newsletter to get exact entry and exit points. I hope you found value in this video. May the markets be with you.